Before I dive into the video, President Trump plans to designate cryptocurrency a national priority, Bloomberg just reported. I just want to quickly make clear that right now we're on the verge of something so crazy, and most people seem to not get it yet. But get the message, right? Get the memo. This is about to super cycle hard. Take a look at the freaking announcements, right? But this just literally posted over the last few minutes. But Trump is coming for, he's coming for our cryptos, baby. Okay, did you guys realize that the XRP price hit a mark of $2.40 today? Now that on its own was just absolutely crazy to me, but in the background, there are a few things cooking. One of the things, which is this: apparently Senator Cynthia Lummis said the FDIC is destroying evidence about digital assets. So what are we referring to here? Well, take a look. Senator Lummis on the FDIC. The FDIC is attempting to hide Operation Choke Point 2.0, and the FDIC must preserve all documents related to digital assets immediately. Tim Scott and I will get to the bottom of it. And it basically says right here, I've been contacted by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, whistleblowers, who allege that destruction of materials is occurring with respect to digital asset activities of your agency. I have also been informed by whistleblowers that staff access to these materials is being closely monitored by management to prevent them from being supplied to the Senate before they can be destroyed, and that certain staff have been threatened with legal action to prevent them from speaking out. This is illegal and unacceptable. You must ensure your staff cease and desist destruction of all materials and end all retaliatory actions immediately. And they're basically then stating what type of things they want to preserve, and all materials whatsoever containing the terms crypto, crypto asset, blah, 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 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗕. And it's kind of funny how, indeed, if they did not mention all these things specifically, I think, indeed, it would just quickly go out the window if this, of course, is really happening. But I'm thinking if it's shared like this, the probability of it really happening behind closed doors is quite large. But now my thoughts as to why they might be doing this. Well, for the most part, it seems they just do not want all their shady crypto business out in the public. And that's because they're most likely doing some really kind of crazy stuff behind closed doors. But then again, I'm not saying they're buying tons of it or they've been secretly bullish all along. I mostly think they might have mistreated certain companies or mistreated certain aspects of it. And right now, because Trump is coming in, they're regretting that. But there's a bit more news in paradise right now, a piece of which we've got right in front of us here that states Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary 𝗕𝗏𝘀 says there's no reason for the government to create a CBDC, which is actually quite interesting as well.
On CBDCs, I see no reason for the U.S. to have a central bank digital currency. And
having said that, in macroeconomical land, Fed's Christopher Waller says 3 or maybe even 4 rate cuts could be possible this year. Could again be extremely interesting for the markets. And now besides that, if you want to know what am I doing with my trades, are we still excited, are we still bullish, I'll say one thing really quickly, and that just quickly, what is that, what's going on here? I was going to say, let's quickly refresh that. I'm not sure why that is so buggy. I was going to say that when it comes to these positions, when it comes to XRP, when it comes to anything really for that matter, to some extent, what Sundog here said is very much true. All right, he said being right with no size is basically the same as being wrong. And what that basically means is, let's just say we're talking about XRP every single day. We are excited about it and the price goes up. If I did not hold any, or rather, if I just had such a tiny amount, it really wouldn't be that exciting to me. Now, I've already told you guys various times that XRP is the biggest coin in my portfolio, but I just noticed today that I just have to buy bigger into these positions, go a bit crazier. Well, crazier from the perspective that what I usually do in these streams, basically. But not really crazy in terms of a whopping size. We're not going to open something too phenomenal. But it's mostly just because otherwise, to me, there's not really as much fun. We made a lot of these trading updates mostly because I think people can copy them. We started with $2,000, $1,000, $10,000, $15,000, whatever. But I want to take some really bigger trades on the channel, mostly also to have some real fun in it myself, or to have more of a thrill feeling, if you guys get my drift. So for example, the last few days, we've been doing some live streams talking about the price. And even though I'm excited because I see my portfolio growing, sure, it's way more fun to me if I also have just a bit more money on the line to make it more interesting. I mean, right now we still have ourselves $170,000 worth of XRP position open right here. And on Bybit, we have, if we go to the main account, also still roughly $70,000 worth of profit or so on the XRP trade. Let's quickly see. So we got 50,000 there and 21,000 there or so. So let's just say $70,000 in profit or so on the XRP trade here. It's still kind of nothing. You know, it has to be a couple $100,000 to feel like we're achieving something or so, that I can go ape mode when the price really goes to like $5 or something like that. So that's why I said before, if the XRP price bounces back to $2.60, I'll probably just buy a good chunk, probably at $2.70 as well. And if it goes lower than that, I'll be adding multiple millions of dollars. It'll be very, very funny to see. If you also want to trade, by the way, I've left the link down below to Blowfin. It's the platform I'm trading on right now. And we're giving away 2 iPhone 16s over the next week. Now, to go through is why I believe things are about to go really kind of bananas on the XRP front. I already described before that Trump coming in on its own is such a major event. Just absolutely phenomenal, absolutely crazy. But if we're extrapolating it with what's happening at the SEC right now, I kind of believe it's the start for coins like XRP, but we'll quickly roll into other coins like Solana, Cardano, and all these other ones that basically had an issue with the SEC currently. Maybe even a coin like BNB could benefit a lot. And you got to understand that if, right, okay, let me take a step back. So for XRP, that is crazy nice. Just the fact that the SEC revamps and that they've been meeting with Trump, etc. But there's another angle. If all these other coins also get their lawsuits or issues with the SEC resolved, even Coinbase, right? Even Binance, think about how bullish that is for those coins. And the more coins that go really crazy, the more of a chance that that's where the altcoin season really shines. And so to some extent, I prefer it when XRP pumps like crazy and most altcoins stay flat because it just kind of reprices itself rather than just hyped up starts pumping. But on the opposite side, I'm also realistic in stating that I, to some extent, prefer it if, and maybe people disagree, but I prefer if the entire market's moving up and XRP just moves up more than if everything is moving kind of sideways, slightly up, and XRP just goes crazy. It just feels more like it's sustainable to some extent. I'm not sure if that makes sense to a lot of people. Little side note, this wall might look really close, but it's very freaking, it's like another 2 arm lengths or so away from me. But it's kind of funny. I'm looking at this thinking, like I might bump my head, but it's very, very far. Like even now, it's another 2 of these bottles away, I think. But yeah, it's kind of funny. And by the way, we expect that many of these cases will actually be dropped pretty quickly after the SEC enters office because it would be very shameful for the Trump administration if they're thinking of getting a US-based coin, a reserve going, or anything of the sort, but at the same time, their own agency is actually suing them for fraud and things of that nature, right? So that's why I kept thinking right here that the moment the SEC changes hands, it might go rather quickly. I mean, there might be some formal things that take a little bit of time, but I do believe the change will happen quite fast. So when the lawsuit document dropped yesterday, somebody says, hey, Eleanor, what do you expect starting next week for the pace and scale of SEC complaints to be dismissed or settled favorably for defendants? Like, are all these things just going to start rapidly disappearing? And Eleanor said, it's likely the acting chair will begin reviewing the ongoing non-fraud cases currently in litigation pretty quickly. And after that, possibly request stays of some of them. That basically means, you kind of like delay them, so to speak, or do nothing. This will take some time. As my legal sources tell me, the SEC would have to go through the legal formalities of filing a motion, requesting a stay, and then the courts would have to rule in each case, all right? Because that is, again, legal stuff. But either 𝗬𝗓𝗓 or Pierce, likely 𝗬𝗓𝗓, will become acting chair, has the power to get the ball rolling on this while Atkins is going through confirmation. I should have more to report on this in the coming days. Interesting, right? And Chris says, gonna be a test for the SEC's approach to crypto regulation. If Ripple wins, it'll be a big deal for the industry, fingers crossed. And I keep thinking here that what if new rules are made from Trump out? How would that affect all the cases like in retrospect? If right now they're working with laws that are so old, Trump basically said for a lot of the old rules, we're going to get a lot of new ones in. For every 10 old rules, we're going to get a new one, so to speak, I think. Or maybe for every 1 old rule, 10 new. No, I think for every 10 old ones, they're going to scrap them all and just get 1 solid new one in, something along those lines. maybe it's going to be a lot easier than what it says right here. I know formalities in that sense will always have to take place, but maybe it will just go a lot quicker than we all expect. And I will always keep saying, if you're witnessing life-changing amounts of gains change your life, we never know how high this is going to go. Right now, we are crazy high for XRP, but ultimately, it's kind of low if you think about the position that we're in. And I keep saying that even with Trump, there could be a little dump on the day or so, but I think if we look a few weeks in the future, there's almost no chance we're going to be very, very low here. At least that's my own expectation here. I'm just way too excited maybe though. Maybe I'm a lunatic for saying all that. Maybe you guys are thinking, Dusty, you're way too optimistic. XRP will be back at $2 in no time. It's possible, but I think that's all, again, just a short-term fad, because if we think of where it's going to be in 3 months, most likely more than double from where we're at today. And I've said that multiple times. And now, fun fact, if I now talk about double, it's not just $5 in XRP anymore. It's almost $7, right? $6.50 or so per XRP. So that also just kind of is funny how quickly things move. If we talked about doubling just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about $4 in XRP, but right now we're like 60 cents away from $4 per coin. We just hit, right now we're back to 327. And right now 327 feels low. And just this morning, I was surprised that we were at $3.19. And that's just how fast this space sometimes can move. Anyway, I'm enjoying it all, right? We only get wrecked if XRP goes below 42 cents. Which I guess I hope it doesn't go. I mean, in this case, it's only $170,000. We'll just add more money so we do not get liquidated. I don't believe XRP will go to 40 cents though, so I think we're quite solid with this one. I'll most likely still just keep adding as the price moves down. Most likely, if we go back to where it's below $3, I might just add again. I was gonna say add a little bit more to the position right here. But we'll see how things go. I'm just really excited for the near term, and I don't really care what anybody else says. But yeah, those are my thoughts. If there's a specific coin you'd like a video on, let me know down below, because I've got a couple of things cooking here that I think could be a cool little crypto update video. But anyway, let me know what your favorite coin is down below. I'll probably get to it, and make sure you put that notification bell on, so whenever something crazy happens, you are notified.